Now, one of the most critical persons on this Namunkekera model is Bent Ronsen, Special Forces, Norwegian Special Forces, NGO organizer, one of the donors who is now moving against that situation. Bent, come and talk about mainly post-harvest management.
It's a pleasure and an honor to be here with you. As the General said, I have been coming to Uganda for a long time, and for some time it had to do with insecurity and security and these issues. Now there is peace in the whole country, and we all want to move forward. So I kind of call it that I went from the gun barrel to the wheelbarrow, because now it's time to produce. And farming has now become my main passion, farming and agriculture. But I keep a word on farming, because that's what I'm doing. I'm a farmer. And my vision for Uganda is that we should bring farming from penalty to profession. And I think you know what I mean when I say from penalty to profession, because farming has been associated with poverty, hard work, sweat, like a penalty. And when we misbehaved in school, what was the penalty? Dig. Go out and dig. When you misbehave at home, you go and dig. So we are talking about getting the youth into less betting and more farming. But that has all to do with, we have to take it from the penalty side to the professional side. The president said some time back, a couple of years ago, that farming is our gold in Uganda. And it's so easy to look at other opportunities, and they are there, but really farming is our gold. And we should hold on to that one, because it's something that is there forever and is sustainable. I'm going to talk about post-harvest, but let me just take 4 points when it comes to the opportunities in farming and the challenges. Very quick. Because when I look at Uganda, we are so blessed. I see opportunity number 1, the climate. Some of our soldiers, they go to Somalia. And I think they can testify they have a tough climate there. We are so blessed. We have rain. We have a very nice temperature year-round. We are blessed. We are blessed with land. There are millions of acres around the country that are not even producing today. And it will take so little to put it into production. Where is that the case? Is that the case in Kenya? No. Almost all the available land is already taken, and the rest is arid and dry. But we have land. Then we have labor. On this farming operation that I'm doing, I think 2 weeks ago I had 200 people working for me. So in this operation I go between like 80 up to 200 people employed, because the labor is there and people are happy to work. As long as you treat them with decency, you pay them on time, just treat them as human beings. People are so hardworking and so loyal. That's a huge resource in Uganda. And number 4, the market. I'm not going to say a lot about the market because we have more clever people than me about that one. But what I can say is that when I started producing here, I have never had really to look for a market. The market has been there. So this country is big, has a lot of people, and is growing very, very fast. And so are all the neighboring countries. so the market is there. So now, what are the challenges? I'm going to list them very quickly, and you don't even have to write, because the challenges are climate, land, labor, and market.
We have to write that one, please. You
Climate, land, labor, and market. Because it's exactly those areas we can even fail. Isn't that right? The rain didn't come in time. There was this and that. You know, it's a challenge, but it can be managed. Because I listed it as an opportunity first, didn't I? Okay? So we don't have time to go into that one. That will be a lecture later. The land, a huge asset, but my God, what a challenge. The land issues is one of the biggest breaks on actually having this vehicle pick up speed. There is land quarreling over half an acre and 1,000 acre. You can hardly put your feet on some ground in Uganda, even if it looks vacant, hasn't been used for 100 years, and you think I can do something positive there. What happens? Land issues. Nobody knows who owns it. There are usually 3 or 4 people who claim that this is my land. That's something we have to tackle. It's a challenge.
Especially for a Norwegian.
Especially for a Norwegian, yeah. I have struggled for 5 years to actually develop a piece of land here. 5 years. Labor is a challenge because you have to manage the labor force well. And there's no big tradition in Uganda to manage a labor force well. People are not appreciated, they're ill-treated, they are not paid, and you still expect to get something back from them. It's an opportunity, but it's a challenge. And if you can't manage people here, you're in trouble. And of course, number 4, the market. It is a challenge, but that one certainly can be managed. And that's where I jump now to something very concrete about the post-harvest. Because I'm doing maize, and for me to reach the market, I saw that I had to produce quality maize. And again now, look at me as a farmer. Yes, I produce maybe 1,000 tons, like that. But am I into milling? No. Here you see farmers who maybe have 20 tons or 40 tons. They think, oh, I have to go into milling. A farmer should be a farmer, and he can do well as a farmer, as long as the conditions are right. Then let somebody else do the milling. Okay? Somebody else does the value addition. If I'm to be a professional farmer, which is the most complicated profession in the world, I need to concentrate on that one. And I can do well just concentrating on the farming. When it comes to the post-harvest, my biggest inspiration in post-harvest, you know who that one is? He actually lived and died 3,000 years ago. And he was called Joseph. You know Joseph in the Bible?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know the story, and you know the history, and you know the challenge he was facing. What was the challenge? They were going to have 7 good years, and then 7 years of no harvest. The message from God was not 7 years of plenty and then 7 years of famine. It wasn't. It was just, it said it's going to be dry. So what do? That's a pretty huge task, isn't it? We are looking here, how can I keep this grain for 7 days without getting destroyed? because grain can get destroyed in 7 days. I'm now taking grain from the outgrowers. It's coming wet to me, a bit too wet, and I can hardly let it sit overnight because it can get destroyed. Now we're talking 7 hours, but here we were talking 7 years. So my thinking is that if Joseph could succeed in his job 3,000 years ago, developing his own methods, I think we Ugandans can do the same, even developing maybe our own methods. Do you agree? Can we do it?
Yeah.
We can do it, right? And it doesn't have to be so complicated. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money. Do you know that they can still find grain from that time that is still okay 3,000 years ago? And those methods we will go into later. But I'm just saying we can do it. The reason I had to produce quality is a very funny one. Very strange reason. I have to produce quality maize because I'm feeding chicken. Now you will have to see the oddity in the whole thing. Right now, there are millers and traders busy out there with in the bush looking for maize, buying maize at 300 to 400, at 300 to 400 shillings a kilo. Okay? Yeah. Okay. I'm buying at 550. Those traders out there take that maize, which is wet, which is dirty, not good at all, just rush it to the mill. Do they have a moisture meter to measure it? No. Get it into the mill. What is the result? School children get sick. Policemen get sick. Soldiers get sick. Because there is no control. How is that maize that is actually being fed to humans, to you and to me? No control. But since I'm actually selling a lot of my maize to someone who's feeding chicken, they say, ah, ha, ha, ha. My pocket will hurt if I'm feeding my chicken bad feed. You understand?
Yes.
It is actually hurting me. So this is an oddity here. The moment we start demanding quality for human food, you know, prices will go up because we can actually meet that challenge. I can pay 550 because I have a market that is paying well for it. So I take that maize from the farmers and I said, I can pay you well because I get paid well. How we have done our post-harvest has been very simple. And I don't know if you have seen it out there, but it's pretty much based on those silos you see out there. Those silos out there now in the middle of the garden holds about 400 tons. And it's a very simple device that can be built almost by anyone. So we do it ourselves here. But it's so important, like with maize, that you take the cobs immediately and you start drying them. So our process has been, instead of shelling very quickly, and then, because once it's shelled, it is dangerous. Because a bag of grain that is wet will rot very quickly. But a bag of cobs doesn't. So I keep the grain in cobs as I am busy harvesting very quickly. I don't have time to do the shelling and the drying. I just need to get it in quickly. So I built those silos. Then I can be at peace. They are safe for now. I just cover them with the tarpaulin when we see the rain is coming, and the rest, the wind and the sun takes care of it, and it dries it down quite a bit. When I feel now I'm ready to start the shelling, then I move the sheller up there and we shell. It's not yet dry, so I have done a lot of drying on tarpaulins. I have dried around 500 to 600 tons a season on tarpaulins. So if one person can do that, I think that is a method that can work very well, once you just do it the right way. So all this maize, this quality maize have been produced without those, you know, those big silos. We need those big silos, they cost $1 million. It doesn't have to cost $1 million, because I didn't have that money. So I just needed to do something cheaper. Maybe Joseph didn't have $1 million either, so he had to look at methods that can actually work and that we can afford. Those methods are there, and it's so important that those methods get into your parishes, get to the districts, because that puts actually the power of the produce in the hands of the farmers themselves. Because they don't have to stand there along the road waiting for that trader to come, and they know that I have to sell this maize now. I know that has to do a bit with credit and all that, but that can be arranged. But they have to be able to take care of the grain so they don't have to sell it at rock bottom prices. Here at this farm, we have developed a method that I'm happy to show you later and explain. It can work out where you are. Any question? I take a couple of questions you have before I have to rush. Is there anyone who has a question?
Continue.
Should I continue? Now, after the drying process, the cleanness is also a very important issue. Yeah. There are cleaning machines, and even there is one sitting in the compound. But even the cleaning, we have done manual. You know, on the mesh tables. And just by using those simple methods, we have produced grade 1 maize season after season, and that means a lot, because while others have to sell their maize maybe at 600 or 500, we have been able to sell it at 800 and 900. And that's a huge difference for me as a farmer and for every other farmer, because that's the little profit that's going to pay for school fees, right? And if you don't have that one, those farmers now out there selling their maize at 300, I can tell you they are at a loss. There are no money for school fees. There are no money for school fees. So this one we have to change, and if we at Glad Farm and Nunquequera can be part of that change, we are happy. And I think this will be a center where people can come and they can look at the methods, and we are happy to share it. You can learn. So that what we are doing here can be done other places too. Thank you so much. Pleasure meeting you, and I hope to see you again.
Mr. Shane, his problem, he thinks, Uganda's problem is timekeeping. Yeah, that's all. The rest is okay. But time. And today he was 150% right. So he's a very hard worker, a partner, and somebody who is not interested in manufacturing plastic chairs. So I think having heard from Mwalimu Ramazani Govi, and from Bent, and also from Shane, because I spoke for him. The question is, unfortunately, the chairman of the new NADS, chairman of the new NADS, has arrived. You see what the rest of you have missed. The chairman of the new NADS. Yes, our former minister of agriculture, Honorable Agure Bajire, is here with me. He's the one who started this revolution of maize in Nakaseke. Because when he was a minister, I asked him, because you are sending Nakaseke districts once 60 to 80 tons of seeds, and you have permanently sent them not more than 10 tons. Can you help me and you just give me once? That's where we have even got a word called fire and forget. Can you just for once believe in the military and you fire and you don't look, you don't know where it has gone. And it has never stopped. So he's a historic figure here and he's our boss. We are under his authority, and maybe he'll have time to talk to you. So today we have a new product on the market, and I request all of you to test it. But the problem is that you're going to take it on behalf of all the 5 who didn't turn up. And it's called maize juice. Have you ever tasted maize juice?
No.
Juice works solely. So na yechi atechera bikabu munywe before you eat, you are more satisfied even nemere to. So na itumtege sete mumutia. Just try and see whether you can because if it happens, if you like it, it's like making milk out of kasori, and it is simple technology and it can be done.
When you're starting, you don't start a big one. I think you start with a small one. Bless this food, Lord, that we're about to receive from your kindness or your service. Hey,
you want us to test from here?
I think it's okay.
Yeah, what's this?
I'm hungry now. The thing is just going. The thing is okay.
He's saying it's okay. Let me take a bigger.
How's the juice? The taste is okay. It's Ugandan. This is our maize. Except that she has not told me how I can crush the maize. Either crushing, because she used the word squeeze. I didn't. That's Luganda. What did she say in Luganda? I understood it. I understood it to mean squeezing it until you get juice out of it. But otherwise, the taste of maize is there and it's a good one. If you could spread this thing, teach us how to make this thing, we'd go and use it for our children. Yeah, it has some sugar.
Elina. Elpia.
Okay, Elpia. So to bulire juice ono mukola muchi.
Ani kasoli embisi.
Kasoli omubisi ya?
Mubisi, si nkalu. Soka kongola. Kati womala kongola, kozikuba n'amasini. Gozikamula. Kozjamu nebikuta. Kasomala okukamula, ngozifumba. Mala kufumba, ngogajjayo okateeka wansi, oteka musukali.
Oteka musukali. Ngo serving omuntu anya.
Nje.
Okay. Lwaki bibuguma?
Antu gafumba.
Omuntu alina kunywanga bibuguma obanga?
Yes.
Teza kunywanga buki. Okay. So juice yali achiwakaso.
Juice mutuufu. Juice mutuufu. Era ndowooza oba girasi eno nga ngimazeemu nnyinza obutagenda kulya kya misana.
Aliacha test ya yali etya.
Test ntuufu kasooli yennyini. Ate mulimu nakyo sugar. So sukaali ono alina nakyo aba mulungi nnyo eri omubiri. oba ekisooka mpulira n'amaanyi gazzeemu.